Only China can keep building the world's tallest bridges again and again. The bridge deck is a full 625 meters above the water surface. If you put it in Beijing, Guangzhou, or Shanghai, this is what it would look like. And if you add the height of the bridge towers, it could stand shoulder to shoulder with the tallest buildings ever built by humans. At such a height, even a free fall from the bridge deck would take 11 seconds to reach the ground. This is the Huajiang Canyon Bridge in Guizhou, which will officially open to traffic on September 28, 2025. Why did we need to build such a tall bridge, and how did we manage to complete it in less than 4 years? Welcome to Planet Research Institute's Xingtian Public Series. What you're seeing now is today's expressway network in Guizhou. It may not look special, but in reality, it is built amidst a landscape of deep gorges and towering peaks. There are 1,258,000 mountain peaks here, with 92.5% of the area covered by mountains and hills. In between, 8 major rivers and all their tributaries have carved out deep valleys. This means that to build the Liyuan Expressway, which connects Liupanshui, Liuji Special District, and former Southwest Anlong County, we had to confront the extremely treacherous section of the Huajiang Grand Canyon on the Beipan River. For this, we had 2 equally challenging options: either choose a gentler slope and a smoother route, but the bridge would have to cross the canyon near the mountaintop, or lower the height of the bridge, but face steeper slopes and longer tunnels. Clearly, the engineers chose to face the 625-meter height head-on. But for a V-shaped canyon, spanning it at such a height would mean a distance of over 1,400 meters between the 2 sides. Even with the tallest bridge piers in the world today, the highest steel box girder bridge is clearly not tall enough, and the largest span arch bridge could only be built here. Even the largest span cable-stayed bridge would still not be enough, so if you want to, at this location, building a super long-span suspension bridge is the only answer. But how many steps does it take to build a bridge that is both the tallest and has the longest span in the world? It's simple. Divide it into 3 steps. First, build 2 sturdy bridge towers, then pull 2 strong main cables across and secure them firmly. Next, use a series of suspenders to hold up a sufficiently stable deck. Congratulations, you now have a suspension bridge. Actually, it's not that simple. To ensure that the 262-meter tall bridge towers stand firmly on the mountaintop, not only do you need to find solid mountain rock, but you also have to drive 24 massive concrete piles deep into the bedrock. How deep, you ask? The deepest goes down 68 meters, which is equivalent to more than 20 stories of a building. Above ground, the over 200-meter tall tower columns are divided into more than 40 stages. Using this kind of tower building machine, each segment is cast and lifted under hydraulic pressure, allowing the bridge tower to grow upward at an impressive rate of 0.8 meters per day on average. At the same time as the bridge towers are being cast, this massive block of concrete is also being poured. Just how big is it? It's about this big. Only with such a massive size can it use its own weight, nearly 400,000 tons, to firmly anchor the 2 cable baskets, allowing them to bear the entire weight of the main cable. This is called a gravity anchor. On the opposite bank, although there isn't enough space to install a huge anchor, the mountain itself can be used as the anchor by embedding the anchor bolts deep into a pre-excavated tunnel. This is known as a tunnel anchor. With the bridge towers and anchors in place, we can finally install the main cables. But just how thick are these 2 seemingly slender cables when viewed from a distance? The answer is nearly 1 meter in diameter, wide enough for a person to walk briskly on them. But how do these massive cables span the more than 1,400-meter wide gorge and reach the other side? For example, this can be done using a drone, which will pull the first pilot rope across from one side to the other. Then this pilot rope will be used to pull a thicker rope across, and that thicker rope will in turn pull an even thicker rope. By repeating this process multiple times, a suspended temporary construction platform can be set up between the two towers. This is called the catwalk. Using the traction system on the catwalk, the main cables can then be pulled across. Each bundle is made up of 91 high-strength steel wires, each with a diameter of 5.7 millimeters. The very first bundle is the most critical. Engineers must use ground-based total stations combined with Beidou satellite positioning and other technologies to keep the installation error within 2 millimeters. Only then can it serve as the reference for the position and tension of all subsequent main cables. Once all 217 bundles have been pulled into place, they are compressed and fixed using a cable press machine, finally forming a single cable. Next, after installing the vertical suspenders, preparations can be made to hoist the main girder. But the entire main girder is simply too heavy, equivalent to 95 of China's largest transport aircraft, the Y-20. Obviously, it's impossible to hoist it all at once, so it has to be divided into 93 stages, starting from the middle and assembling outward toward both sides simultaneously. Even so, each stage still weighs over 200 tons, which is like lifting all the blades of the world's largest wind turbine at once and completing precise alignment over the river while facing the possibility of strong winds at any moment. At this point, how many stars would you give for the difficulty of building the world's tallest bridge? Its chief engineer would say that, in fact, there weren't too many difficulties or challenges. But this isn't just humble bragging. This confidence comes from decades of accumulated experience and tradition. In a sense, building the world's tallest bridge took far more than just 4 years. Where did it all begin? Perhaps it started 6 years ago, when the Huajiang Grand Bridge set the record for the world's tallest concrete bridge tower. Or maybe it was 9 years ago, when the Beipan Bridge on the Hungary Expressway was completed and has held the title of the world's highest bridge ever since. Or perhaps it was 16 years ago, when the Balingi Bridge was the first to break the 1,000-meter span barrier in mountainous terrain. Maybe it was 24 years ago, when we first touched the world record for the highest bridge. Or perhaps it goes back even further, to when the very first Beidou satellite was launched into space. Today, engineers are also trying out many new technologies on the Huajiang Gorge Bridge. Smart chips and cooling water pipes embedded in the anchor bolts that can precisely control temperature, laser radar that can constantly monitor wind speed and direction, as well as intelligent blue lock hoists that can maintain millimeter-level precision, and so on. It is certain that although these new technologies are unprecedented, they will surely be followed by others in the future. And as more of these super projects rise from the ground, what were once super antennas will ultimately become unique and unparalleled landscapes. That's right. From the very beginning of its design, this bridge was not just a super passage that reduced the travel time between the two banks from 2 hours to 2 minutes. It was also conceived as a massive travel destination. And looking at the whole of Guizhou, its 30,000 bridges of all sizes not only connect a network of expressways, but also weave together a network of breathtaking scenery. One day, people who come here for its reputation will realize that the saying, Guizhou is flat only at the 3-foot mark, is actually the biggest misconception about this place, because here lies a man-made high-speed plane. And the people who grow up here will also discover the world beyond. The world beyond is no longer out of reach, and home is no longer a place you can't return to. Even the mountain villages finally have a chance to find a way out. On the very day the bridge opened to traffic, the service area of the Huajiang Gorge Bridge was also officially put into use. People gave it a beautiful name, Yundu, or Cloud Crossing. A single bridge soars across the clouds, turning mountain ranges into plains and making the sky seem closer. This is the mission of the world's highest bridge, the mission of Guizhou's 30,000 bridges, and also the mission of the 1 million bridges across the country.